All right, today you're going to take your worksheet that we worked on last time, where we created our 6 different styled people that are in the Keith Haring technique. So what you're going to do today, you are going to pick out your best 4. So I want you to first look through your worksheet. You should have 4 on the back page, and then you should have 2 on the front. I want you to put a star on your 4 favorite ones. Go ahead and do that now. Once you have your 4 picked out, your next step, you are going to get 4 different pieces of paper. And your goal is to copy what you drew on your worksheet onto this square. Now, when you draw it, you want to draw it large, not small. We want to take up most of the space. If you draw it too small, I'll either have you erase it or flip it over and draw it on the back. Make sure it takes up most of the space. So what I mean by that is, if I've picked this one here, I'll move my paper so you see just what I'm working on. So my goal is to copy this one. So I still have my stick figure that I drew around the other day. So I want to start with that stick figure. So I would draw the head just like I did on the paper. And I want it to take up most of the space. Nice and big like that. Then I'm going to do the same steps that we learned last class. I'm going to go around outlining my stick figure. And I'm going to do that on my 4 papers. So I end up with 4 different looking Keith Haring style people. Go ahead and do that step now. Now, before you move on to the next step, you are going to need to have all 4 of yours checked by staff to make sure that you are outlining far away from the line and not close. What I mean by that is if you are outlining really close to your pencil line like that, you're going to need to erase it and move further out. Remember, we want a nice, thick outline around our person. We don't want skinny people. We want thick people. So make sure all of your outline is thick and not close. We're also going to check to make sure that these are all different and none of them look the same. Once you have your 4 made and we have checked them, your next step, you're going to take just a regular marker, not a Sharpie, just a regular black marker, and you are going to trace around the outside just like we did on the worksheet so that it looks just like this. When you outline, go nice and slow so that you stay on your line. You're going to do that for all 4. Go ahead and do that step. All right, your next step, now that you have all 4 of them outlined in a black marker, you are going to turn them over. All right, and it's a little hard to see on my camera, but at your desk, you will be able to see your black line through your paper. What you're going to do is with a regular pencil, not a mechanical pencil. If you don't have a regular pencil, you can borrow one. Okay, with a regular pencil, you are going to scribble thick, nice and dark over where you can see that line through. All right. The darker you do, the better your next step is going to turn out for you. So we're scribbling nice and thick. We're not tracing it perfectly like that. Okay. We are scribbling nice and dark around your line. You also are not going to go like this and just scribble over the whole paper, because that is, 1, not dark enough, 2, it's wasting your lead, 3, it's wasting your time. Instead, you're just scribbling where the black line is. So when you're done, you end up with a thick, dark copy on the back that then we are going to use for our next step. All right. We will bring you a couple extra pencils so that way you don't have to stop and sharpen. Go ahead and do that step. All right. Now that you have all 4 scribbled dark on the back side, you are going to put these to the side. You are going to get a big piece of paper. All right. First step, fold it in half the fat way. So if we think of our hot dog versus hamburger bun, I want you to fold it in half hamburger style. It does not need to be perfect, just close. Next step, you are going to fold it in half one more time, the skinny way. So you end up with a skinny rectangle like this. Your next fold, you're going to take this half and fold it down so we end up with a small rectangle. If you need help folding, raise your hand and wait patiently. So you should end up with a small rectangle. Now unfold it. You should end up with 4 sections on the top, 4 sections on the bottom. Now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be tracing our people into each one of these sections. You have 4 people and 8 sections. That means you're going to need to trace one twice. Your goal is not to have 2 of the same ones next to each other. So how I'm going to do that? I'm going to get a little piece of tape. All right, we will bring you the tape. And you are going to tape one into a section to start, like so. The reason we're going to tape it is so that way we can lift up and check and make sure we have it all traced before we move it. So now that I have it taped, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it down with one hand. With my other hand, I'm just going to trace nice and smooth over my black marker. And what happens is all that scribble lead that we put on the back is going to be pushed onto our nice big piece of paper. So notice I'm going nice and slow. I'm pushing pretty hard with my pencil. I'm doing my best to stay on my black line. I'm holding the paper down with my other hand. And when I think I'm done, what I can do is pick it up. Again, I can double check. Did I miss anything? I missed a little here and a little here. So I'm just going to go over that, pushing a little harder in those areas that I missed. Now it's not going to be super duper dark. It just needs to be enough that I can see it. What I can always sometimes do is go in and darken up just a little bit where I'm struggling seeing it. So then I have a nice outline of my person. Then I'm going to carefully peel this up and I'm going to move so it's not right next to another one. So maybe I go clear up here in the corner. And then I'm going to repeat that with all 4 of my people. I'm repeating each person twice. Go ahead and do that step. All right, now if you notice, none of mine are super dark. It's kind of hard to see them, right? Nowhere in my instructions did I say retrace over and darken them in. So if you did that, you were not following the directions. I told you just to fill in lightly where things were if you couldn't see it. Now, a couple reasons why yours didn't transfer good. One, on the back, you might not have scribbled dark enough. So that's why we want to scribble really dark. Another reason it might not have transferred well is you were going too fast and not pushing hard enough. So you always need to make sure when you do this tracing technique that you slow down and really push hard. Now, the final step today, you are going to get a Sharpie and you are going to outline each one of your people. Now, when you do this, again, go nice and slow. If it looks sloppy, I'm going to make you redo it. I'm going to give you a new piece of paper or make you do it on the back. So make sure when you're tracing your person, you're going nice and slow so that you have a nice, exact copy. You want your people to look perfect. Go ahead and start outlining all 8 of your people. If you do not get this done, you will finish this next class. Do not rush.